Ever wonder what's going on with the Williamson County, Tennessee real estate market? Well, we're here to answer those questions for you. Hey, I'm John Turner. I'm the team lead of Onward Real Estate, or the Turner Victory team at Onward Real Estate. And each week we like to bring you the market stats, and we're looking at Williamson County as far as what's going on there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some numbers here. The Turner Victory team has a formula we use for a market health score. And for Williamson County for this week, the week ending March 14th, that is at 51. Now, what goes into that market health score? Well, a lot of different things go into that score, but it's local information like month supply, how many pendings, how many new listings, things of that nature. Then we look also on a national level as far as what's going on with mortgage rates, consumer sentiment, and things of that nature. So this whole board right here shows you that information. Now, what we really like to look at is our weekly market report, because this tells us what's going on from week to week within Williamson County. And we have it broken down by different price points. We got the under 500,000, the 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to a million to 1.5, 1.5 to 2, 2 to 3, and above 3. So as we walk through this, also if you look, the blue lines right here represent new construction. So what percentage of homes in that price bucket for that title are new construction? For instance, under 500,000, there's 163 active homes. 33% of those are new construction. Now, 12 new listings came on the market in that price point. 33% of those were new construction. So 15 homes pended, only 13% of those were new construction, and 5 of them closed. 20% of those were new construction. So total, we have 1,236 homes on the market. 96 of those are new homes that have come on the market, not new construction, but new listings. 108 pending. So pendings outpaced the new listings. So more homes went under contract than came on the market. 44 of those homes closed, but also not only did we have 108 pen, we had 57 of them pull off the market. We call it delisted. They were canceled or expired. Sometimes people change their mind, but a lot of times it's because they weren't having success getting it sold. And that usually has to do with one of the three P's. It's either the way the house was presented, the way the house was promoted, or the way the house was priced. So it was either one of those or a combination of those. Across the board in Williamson County, there's 3.44 months supply of inventory, which is it's pretty much a balanced market there. So, and if you look, anything below 1.5 is in the green. Once you start getting above 1.5, you get into more of the orange or the yellow, and anything above 3 million right now, there's there's over 9 months supply of homes on the market above 3 million in Williamson County. So let's look at some charts where we look at some year over year things. Active inventory, it's on the rise, but right now it's not rising too quickly. The next few weeks will really kind of tell us what's going on there. And we are paying attention to the orange for this year. The other lines actually represent the past 3 years. This one we have 2 years worth of month supply. Right now we're at 3.44. This time last year we were at 2.82. So we have about 3/4 of a year more supply, month supply than what we had last year. New listings. This is really telling. Except for the first 2 or 3 weeks, our new listings have been down not only from 2025, but also from 2024. That tells me there's not a whole lot of new inventory coming on the market. We need to keep our eye on that, because if new inventory is not coming on the market, it makes the homes that are on the market more valuable. Now, does that reflect in the sales price? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how much that changes and how tight the inventory gets. If for some reason there's a huge influx of homes that come on the market, obviously that would dilute the buyers out there basically and make the houses not quite as valuable. It's simple supply and demand in economics there. So This chart is a very good chart for us to look at. Now I'm going to tell you, you're going to say, hey, John, there's a lot of squiggly lines there, and there are. So let's first of all try to pull off a couple of these. We're looking at the orange, and this is pendings week by week. So our pendings, if you average this out, they're kind of where they were in 2025. Okay, so if you average them out, again, it's they're up a little bit, they're down a little bit. Same thing here, except for the fact, if you remember, we had the ice storm back here. So for a couple of weeks, there was not a lot going on. If you pull that out, pending numbers are really tracking above what we saw in 2024. And then if we look at 2023, this is really interesting. In the past 5 weeks, we've been above what 2023 was. So some interesting trends there for Williamson County and what's going on with the new listings and the pendings right there. Monthly closings, I know we're in March, but let's look back for February of this year. We had 278 homes sell in Williamson County compared to 284 last year. 254 in January compared to 266 last year. So we are tracking pretty close to last year, except we are down just a little bit. Probably 1% to 2% on that. So not a whole lot of change over last year. Let's look at active inventory by price range. So you can see that the 1 million to 1.5 million has the most homes. There's 212 homes on the market right now in that price range. So certainly pay attention to that. If you're a seller in that price range, if you're a buyer in that price range, you actually have some options. We also like to look at the homes that have been relisted, which means they were pulled off the market and then they were put back on within 60 days of coming off the market. And this just gives you the overall numbers. For instance, there were 70 relist in the 800 to a million price range. Is that a lot? Is that not a whole lot? Well, let's look at it this way. Let's go and look at the rate that they're relisting at. So in the 7 to 800 price range, there's 42%. So 4 out of 10 houses on the market actually were on the market. For whatever reason, did not sell. They pulled it off and they've put it back on. You've got almost 39% of that in the 800 to $1 million price range. So you can see where people are doing that just because they're not having, more than likely just because they're not having success. Now, I will say that it is possible some of this, and I know some people pull their homes off during the ice storm because they just didn't want it shown then. So that could skew these numbers a little bit, but I would venture to say that's just a small part of it. Where our house is selling, 37064. That's where most of the homes are selling in Williamson County right now. Something else we like to do on the Turner Victory team, we like to look at what we call the true days on the market versus the MLS days on the market. So we just talked about homes being relisted. Well, whenever you look in the MLS, it talks about days on the market, and that's just for that listing period. We like to go back and look when the home was first listed, assuming it's been relisted, and calculate those figures. So in our lower price ranges, you don't see a whole lot of difference. 34 days versus 41, not a huge difference. But look at the difference in these charts as we get into some of our higher price ranges. If you are in the 3 to 3.5 million price range, the MLS will tell you the average days on the market is 55. It's really 94. So almost double. So that's just something to pay attention to. If you're a seller, it helps set the proper expectations. It also talks a little bit to me that, hey, maybe we need to look at the way we're pricing homes, because that's the number one key whenever it comes to selling a home, is getting it priced right. Nobody likes to overpay for anything. And whenever there's so many choices out there, buyers are not willing to overpay. So unless you are a very, very unique house, chances of getting someone to overpay in this particular market is very slim. Now, I hear it all the time. But John, my house is different. But John, my house has this. But John, my house has that. I get it, but we're not talking about small differences. It has to be major differences in order for someone to want to overpay for your house versus buy something else that's been priced what we consider correctly. Showings by listings, this is showings per price range, but I just like to look at this. So in Williamson County right now, if your home is on the market, you can expect on average about 2.3 showings per week. Okay. The days of people parking out front, lining up, you have open house on Sunday and 50 people come through, those days they're not here right now. I don't think we'll ever go back to them. Maybe we will, but those were some crazy times, by the way. But what you can expect, and this is a big question because a lot of agents don't keep up with this. I think this is something very important that we would like to talk to our sellers about, is that a couple of showings a week is about what we're looking at on average. We like to try to beat the average by the way that we present things and promote things. So hopefully we're going to beat the average, but that's about where you're going to be. We also, going back to the new construction right now, and this is very interesting, almost 50%, almost half of all the homes in Williamson County that are currently under contract are new construction. So almost half of them. That's just an amazing number right there. That's higher. We're probably higher than any of the other counties around, would be my guess. So new construction activity, this is the percent. We talked about that a little bit earlier. The other thing is, once you start getting into these higher price ranges, the 2 million plus, well over 65% of the homes that are under contract are new construction. So we've just started keeping up with the new construction part of it, and I find it very interesting to do that because we are asked a lot, how many homes, what percentage of homes, new construction homes, make up the market in Williamson County. And again, that number definitely shows us that. We've had some interesting developments over in the Middle East, and I only bring that up because whenever we're looking at the market, it's hard to tell what it's going to do. The market was, we like to use the word momentum, gaining a lot of momentum, and it still has a lot of momentum. But I think a lot of it's going to depend upon what happens in the Middle East, how long that drags on, what happens to gas prices, which then can bring on inflation if gas prices remain elevated. So predicting what may happen, it's hard to predict anyway, but predicting what will happen, especially with that going on, it's just really hard to tell. But let me see, a couple of other things for you. 27% of the homes in Williamson County have reduced their price, and they have reduced it by an average of 5%. So one out of every 4 homes have reduced their pricing on average by 5%. And the other thing that we're looking at is that the sales price in comparison to the original list price has dropped year over year, and it is at 96.4% right now. So a couple of other stats there for you, just in case you really like those stats. Again, my name is John Turner. I am the team lead of the Turner Victory team at Onward Real Estate. We enjoy bringing these stats to you every week. If you would like to get on our weekly email list, please comment below. Let us know that you would like to receive this, because we do send these charts out. We send it out to other real estate agents. We think that an industry that is well educated is better for everybody, so we're happy to share those with other real estate agents. We share them with our friends. We share them with our clients. So please let us know if you would like to get on that. And also make sure that you subscribe and make sure you comment below. That certainly helps us out, and it lets us know that you appreciate the information that we're bringing to you. So appreciate you tuning in. We bring this to you every week. So until next week, we certainly hope that you make it a great week, and we'll see you next week.